Hi, friends. Cole here. It's Wednesday, July 15th, and I'm here with another midweek message from Selkirk United Church. I want to start off this week by asking all of you a question. We had another very good sacrilegion gathering on Zoom yesterday, and for our topic, I asked the question, if you could ask God one question right now, what would it be? Well, the 7 of us who were online together had a really good discussion about that, and I wanted to try to include all of you who are watching. So I'm going to ask you the same question. If you could ask God one question right now, what would it be? I want you to ponder that one for a while today. You don't necessarily have to let me know what you come up with, but if you'd like to, you're certainly more than welcome to send me an email or give me a call and we can talk about it. The other thing I wanted to talk about today was another great article from Broadview Magazine. I didn't have time to touch on this one during last week's message, and I promised to talk about it today, so I will. I think it's important. The article was written by Will Pearson. Will is an associate editor at Broadview and a layperson in the Anglican Church. His article was entitled Praying at Home, and it was a very thoughtful and I think very powerful look at one of the things that could be missing from our lives as we get more and more used to online worship. Pearson talked about his own experience of learning to worship online since this pandemic changed all of our normal church and worship habits. Even as he began watching, and I use that term intentionally because that's the term he used, watching rather than participating. I'll get back to that in a moment. But even as he began watching the worship liturgy unfold on his screen, he realized quite quickly that this computer-mediated worship would not be enough to sustain him through the pandemic. He said that it felt too passive, like he was watching television, and he didn't feel compelled to participate. And he turned it off. How dare he? Can you even imagine turning off the minister in the middle of the service or in the middle of questions for Cole or in the middle of the midweek message? I know some of you can imagine that. I'm sure none of you are turning off your screens during Sunday morning online worship services, though, are you? Not during the sermon, or maybe pressing mute, or skipping over the boring bits, or playing solitaire or Candy Crush at the same time, or whatever the latest game is. Am I getting close? Well, for Will Pearson, online worship just wasn't cutting it, at least not by itself. Maybe that's true for you too. He decided that he needed something else, something more. So he started his own practice of morning and evening prayers with some scripture and about 20 minutes. Those sessions were twice a day to meditate and to think and to pray and to focus on his relationship with God. Kind of a DIY worship experience, one that didn't require any outside help. Although I should add that he didn't create these prayers from scratch. He used the Anglican Book of Common Prayer, which has prayers written out for morning and evening and offers scriptures for the day. Near the end of the article, Pearson acknowledges that he did return to the online worship services too, and especially watched the ones offered by his church for Holy Week. And he says that online worship has played an important role during the pandemic. It has held communities of faith together and maintained a sense of connection. And I agree with that. I think what churches are offering online for the most part has been a vital link for people, both to a link to the rest of their church family and also a link to God. But I agree also with Pearson in that I hope that what people are tuning into on their phones or computer screens, all the content that their minister or others are recording and sharing, I hope that people aren't just settling for that alone and saying to themselves, that's enough, I got my God fix for another week. I think Pearson is onto something here. I do preach about this topic every once in a while, and I often make the comment that our relationship with God has to be more than what we hear and sing and pray together on Sunday mornings. But perhaps especially now, I think it's important that we take some time to ask ourselves, each of us, whether we're really finding ways to live out that idea in our day-to-day lives. Intellectually, I think we all know that you don't need a minister present in order to have a conversation with God, or to read a passage of scripture, or to pray, or to have a holy moment, or to be in touch with your spirituality. You can do that anytime, and we should. We should all be finding times within our day to spend some time with God. I encourage you, each of you, to find ways to do that over the next few days and weeks and try turning it into a habit that hopefully might last your whole life long. In the article, Pearson says, well, I'm paraphrasing him a little bit here, but basically he says that he let God work on him during those 20-minute time slots. I really like that idea. I think that's something we all need a bit more of right now, don't you think? What if we all let God work on us every day, a few times a day? I think that would be time very well spent. I hope you think so too. This is good timing actually, because this minister is going to be away for a week or so. My last bit of summer holidays coming up from Sunday to Sunday. So I expect all of you to, well, first of all, miss me terribly on Sunday and Wednesday and again the following Sunday, but also to spend some time on your own with God. Try out this idea that Will Pearson presents to us, whatever you want to call it. Prayer at home, God time, DIY worship, meditation. Doesn't matter what you call it. I hope that you will try it out, and I hope that it will be a blessing to you. I will be back with another midweek message in 2 weeks' time, and I will be back to regular online Sunday worship services in August. Until then, keep sending in your prayer requests and celebrations to share, favorite hymns, and questions for me if you have any. And stay well, and God bless.